Can you explain us about the platform of future, which is a subject which has been raised earlier?
Absolutely.
Please do.
Welcome to Platforms of the Future. Today's platforms change the lives of billions of people in years rather than generations. What we're about to see is billions more people joining the connected internet as thousands of satellites, internet satellites, are launched around the world. By the early 2020s, we will be living on a digital-first planet. And that will affect how your companies do business and how you do your role. You are about to become an executive in a digital-first era. The most valuable person in your company will be the CIO, the CTO, the innovation managers, and that will affect how your seat at the table could move to the head of the table. A digital-first era is arriving faster every single day. Today, after the internet, the time to 1 billion users has shrunk to just 6 to 12 years. Capitalism itself has switched in a way that people don't expect because linear growth competition is now obsolete, has been exceeded by exponential growth competition. And the best companies, the biggest winners, are the exponential growth companies. How would you add exponential growth to your company? And to show you, we will take two journeys today. The first is the widely expected corporate-first journey, where exponential growth threatens you. And the second is an unexpected journey to a people-first platform, where exponential growth benefits your company and everyone. On this first journey, a corporate-first journey, you know the leaders very well. In fact, you may do business with them every day. And to show you where they're really taking you, let's go back to the United States in the 1800s, where there were new companies that needed to reach mass markets and ship their products all over the country. And they used railroad. And the railroads discovered they could be the gatekeepers. And the gatekeepers could decide which companies could reach their markets and how much they paid. Today, as we look ahead to the early 2020s, you will see that there will be many digital-first consumers, and their numbers will be growing exponentially large very quickly. And there will be many companies that need to be on their devices and appear as part of their lives, or else they won't be in business. Amazon's gatekeeper model, for example, will say to you, our model is retail, and we are deeply involved in the lives of digital-first consumers, and so if you want to be part of their lives, pay Amazon, and we will sell and deliver your products for you. Facebook's gatekeeper model will say, we're deeply involved in their lives of digital-first consumers, and we give them free connections, communications, and content. So pay Facebook for advertising, and you will be part of their lives. Google will say the same thing. Our gatekeeper model is advertising, and we are part of their lives throughout the day. But what you'll find is a gatekeeper model will charge you by the drip. Every exposure for your company on somebody's device will cost you money, either for advertising or for a transaction. Therefore, digital wealth, if these platforms win, will make them the digital infrastructure of a digital economy for decades to come, and the economy's wealth will be funneled to them. You are facing a crisis that affects all people because wealth is being funneled to the top. Artificial intelligence and robotics is being promoted by these platforms very widely, and it will do more of the work. And therefore, people will be moved to the bottom. So you will face both a wealth crisis and a growth crisis because we are a consumption economy, and you need large numbers of prosperous, successful people in order to succeed. And so at the end of a corporate first journey, What you face is a small number of winners where the wealth flows to them, and many companies, including yours, and people, could well be working for them. But there is also a people-first journey, and on this people-first journey, exponential growth benefits you and everyone. To see where this is going, let's look at where this is taking you already. In 2001, at the peak of the first internet boom, people spent 6% of their time online. And in 2008, when the smartphone and mobility were first beginning, people were up to 18% of their time online, and that's increased to 37% by 2016. What's actually happening is a paradigm shift from an analog world to a digital world. A digital Earth is coming, and a people-first digital Earth is also going to be part of it, because the point of this whole innovation is for you and everyone to be able to take the lead. And we will look at the components of a people-first platform in a minute, but the key point is that this is a cloud service. And as a cloud service, you will be able to deploy it and scale it across your customers and your markets very rapidly. The same deployment and scaling across your employees and your business operations throughout your supply chain, into your distribution channels, and throughout your marketing. So cloud services allow you to become part of the future very quickly. This future is real technology. It's actually named the Expandiverse, for expanding universe. This technology, the intellectual property, has already been cited by over 800 patents. An IP professor wrote that in 2017 in the United States, this may be the most widely cited intellectual property. And you can see from the logos up there, the companies that are already citing it the most, that's an indication of their forward-looking direction, investments in this direction. One of the components is shared life spaces, and when you go to one of your shared life spaces, you actually are already continuously connected to people, places, tools, services, and resources. And as a result, as you switch from one shared space to another, everything is already continuously connected. You have the world at your fingertips. Digital boundaries is another component. Today, in your physical world, everywhere you go, you have boundaries and you're protected. In your digital life, you will be protected as far as being able to determine which advertisements you want to see, what content, and what you include and what you want to keep out. And all of this will appear across your family of devices so that as you move from device to device, place to place, and time to time, you will have control over your digital environment. Active knowledge is actually an important new bridge that's coming. Right now, you are wirelessly surrounded by the world's best knowledge, the best tools, the best services, and the best commercial choices. But it's disconnected from what you do. And with this bridge, you will receive, as part of doing anything online, your next best step and the short path to your goal, so that you and everyone will be able to succeed at a high level immediately as part of what you do. The point of these is that there are individual advances in many areas that are coming, but as a combination, it's far more powerful. And one of the most powerful combinations is connected consumption, which directly affects your company and what you bring to the marketplace. At the top right there is today's marketing. Today's marketers are concerned with finding, buying, and delivering. But in the future, with connected products and connected services, every product touch throughout the whole product life cycle will be something that connects you and your customers directly. And so you will know who your customers are, what they do with your products, what works and what doesn't, and what needs to be improved. And as a result, this will change your business operations. You will use real data for the first time to drive your supply chain decisions. you'll not only increase accuracy throughout your supply chain, because you're connected to your customers, you will eliminate many advertising costs. And because you're delivering directly to your customers, you will eliminate many distribution costs and also eliminate many middlemen costs, such as with Amazon. What this does is it changes the way the economy works. Because in 1776, Adam Smith introduced in his classic economic book, The Wealth of Nations, he introduced the invisible hand of the marketplace. But with connected consumption, you are going to have the visible hand of the marketplace. So you will know what works, what doesn't work, what the gaps are, and what's missing, which will allow you to do revenue projections on the biggest gaps and focus immediately on filling them. And I call this overall model partnership capitalism, because at the top, your customers are your partners. They use digital boundaries to decide what displays on their devices at the second level, both the advertising and the content. And then from the choices they make from their devices, they engage in connected consumption with you. And you use that data to drive your supply chain decisions. And those decisions actually build and deliver to people personally and directly the world that they want to live in. There is something missing from this model, something that you want to be missing because it's your competitors, your competition. In today's world, surveillance platforms take your customers' behaviors and sell your customers to your biggest competitors. But in this model, your customers are engaged with digital boundaries and connections with you and cannot be sold in the same ways. And I call this new coming world Digital Earth 2025 because a lot of this is buildable and can come quickly. But for example, if I wanted to eat healthy food and lead a healthy life, those are the kinds of choices I could see on my family of devices. I would work and buy from and engage with those vendors and trusted relationships. And if I and many other people like me, for example, wanted to help with climate change, I could remove all of the fossil fuel choices from my devices, and I could see renewable choices. And then as I engaged in competition, the companies that wanted to serve me would give me renewable choices. I could help direct the economy in that direction. And so you can see up here that there are many new opportunities for exponential growth all through the economy. In the area of managing boundaries, media companies and nonprofits could also participate in helping set up boundaries. In the area of connected consumption in the center, there are not only individual kinds of companies that can work with people, but there's also entire industries like retail, which is under threat from Amazon, and publishing, which is under threat from losing advertising revenues to Google and Facebook. These kinds of systems can also be built and deployed by many in the IT services industry in the upper right. Now let's move on. How would you implement this at your company, exponential growth? What actually happens is that the biggest driver of the value of your company is now intangible assets. It's shifted so that by 2015, it's become 80% of corporate value. The first principle is to switch from atoms to bits. Bits can be transformed into what's needed in a nanosecond and then delivered instantly all over the world. The second principle is to deliver this to the people who need it and serve them personally and change their problems and needs into wonderful experiences, transformations that are instant and immediate. Scale that globally and get back visible marketplaces as a result. The visible marketplace is the third thing, because instead of just finding gaps and prioritizing them, you actually now can connect with the individual people during their moments of need, solve their problems, and then use those moments of need to sell to them the new solutions that fill their gaps. This becomes exponential for you because when you build a system for 10 people, you can scale it to 10,000 or 10 million. When you continuously improve it using what comes back from the marketplace, you can scale it to 100 million and work towards 1 billion. The most important principle is to capture this as intellectual property and patents so that you will own the IP that's essential to drive this new marketplace. And the way you do that, which could be a whole large discussion, but the way you do that is to involve patent researchers at the earliest stages of new ideas. And if something is not yet patented, a new idea that your company has, patent it immediately. And if it is, then surround that patent with your applications, your capabilities, and your features. How would you use this to lead? Essentially, today, the core question really is underlying and not approached as much as it needs to be, which is, we expected a wealthy future for everyone from advanced technology. We actually have the ability to build that. But what we're actually building and getting to is an inequality crisis that holds down wealth and a people crisis that holds down growth. But with a people-first platform, when you make people super powerful, it makes you super powerful. The beginning of this was the Industrial Revolution, and in the 1800s, the West were the companies that became what's called today the First World, or the advanced economies. But in the 1950s, the BRICS countries, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, began to catch up and are growing so rapidly that by 2050, other than the United States, they will comprise the largest economies in the world. But after a people-first platform and a visible marketplace that people can identify with, the problems, the gaps will be discovered and solved, in many cases within 150 hours. And then those solutions will be delivered all over the world to the people who need them in their moments of need in 150 seconds. So the catching up will be something that everybody in the world will do. From your point of view, with the internet satellites coming and the world becoming a digital-first planet, you have the opportunity at this critical hockey stick inflection moment of growth to have a people-first platform, help people all over the world, and build your directly connected customer base to hundreds of millions of customers. What would that economy and society look like? Today, where we're heading is a pyramid with a small number of elites at the top, and your company and all people working for them. But I call what's coming and what's the opportunity open to us the big flip, where the pyramid flips upside down and exponential growth benefits your company and everyone gets to rise to the top. And we get to do this without revolutions, without violence, without attacking elites or anyone. We get to help everyone rise to the top. We are beginning to approach a time when we could have capabilities and engineering systems that help companies and peoples rise very rapidly. And I would submit that on your roadmaps, in your innovation projects, in many specific areas, you are already building the precursors to a people-first platform. The most important takeaway from this keynote is what to build first so that you can get there rapidly, and that is connected products and services. If you start with connected consumption, you start with immediate use cases and business payoffs that benefit you, and you set the foundation in place to be able to grow a people-first platform. And I would suggest that you do it quickly, because digital convergence is also coming. And when this kicks in, it's going to happen to a lot of companies quickly. And you do want to be first, and to do that, it's simple. There are 3 ways to build. And the first is acquisitions, the second is partnering, the third and the slowest is building. So build the pieces you need, but look at acquisitions and partnering to get there quickly. We started with your platform of the future, which is that platforms change the lives of billions in years and not generations. And we asked the critical question of where is the wealthy future from technology? The answer is that it's right here in this room. It's you. And you are the most important person for the future of your company. And if you exercise your opportunities, which are enormous today, you could move yourself to the head of the table. And in fact, you may find yourself leading the world. The last question is simple. What do you need and when do you need it? Because it would be an honor to get to know you personally. Don't hesitate. Get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan, for this thrilling and inspiring speech.
You're welcome.
Should I say that the first decision to make is move to connected consumption?
Yes, and the best way to do it is through your products and services. Make them connected. Then you will be able to sell, not just sell, but sell through them and bypass the large platforms and build your own products and services that empower your company.
Crystal clear. Thank you very, very much, Dan.